Hi, I'm Barbara Allen. I'm a real estate broker in Ashland, and one of the great things about the Rogue Valley are all the fabulous food companies that we have, and one of them is in Central Point. It's owned by David Gremmel. It's called Rogue Creamery, and that's why I have this little plate of cheese in front of me, because this cheese beat the French at their own game, blue cheese. So I hope you enjoy the video, and you'll know a lot more about why people live in the Rogue Valley and love everything about it.
You know, when we bought the Creamery, our goals were very simple. We wanted to make the world's finest blue cheese. We wanted to create a sustainable environment here at Rogue Creamery, and we wanted to create a very safe and positive and healthful work environment for the team members. And about is this Creamery has been here over 70 years.
Yes.
And it is a sustainable creamery and a sustainable model, and it's a model that we've certainly incorporated in our business planning to continue to perpetuate the legacy and heritage that has been built here for Central Point, for our community, and for the community of cheesemakers.
If you don't have this attitude and this passion, if you wish to call it that, you don't stay here. In my opinion, not being flattering, you have done it.
Well, thank you.
Well, no. The milk shed that you got, the producer you got, you indoctrinated into. He now has what I consider to be one of the best integrated dairy operations in all of Oregon, not just in Southern Oregon.
Certainly it's a full circle sustainability, and you see that from farm to our facility and back to the farm.
Right.
And in the whole cycle of milk moving into cheese making, and then our waste being whey going back to the farm.
Right.
And then that waste being used.
And it's not polluting any streams, and it's not doing anything. It is being used.
It's being used to nourish yearling heifers.
Right.
And so, yeah, it is. And there's great nutritional value in our way, so it's great that we're utilizing it that way. So, how did it feel when you got a call from Bob Farland in London announcing Rogue River Blue being the world's best blue?
Well, I have to be really frank about it, is I wasn't totally surprised. The only surprise was that it was, number one, made in the United States, and number two, worse than that, as far as the judges in the European and the UK are concerned, made in the West. But I figured that at some point in time, and I didn't know how quickly, it would get recognized, because you and Carrie had done too much work on it not to have it recognized, and it really tweaked it. Anybody can make cheese, but to make consistently good and prize-winning cheese, you got to be on top of things and tweak it even a day at a time. This type of weather entails a different heating of the milk and a different setting of the milk, and you got to understand these things, and the computers don't. And
I was elated. I was definitely elated to receive that phone call. I was driving down on the interstate from Portland. I had attended a wholesale meeting there and got your call. I think it was about in Eugene when I received your call, and I was just purely taken back by the announcement of Rogue River Blue beating not only the English blues, the Spanish blues, the Italian blues, and the French blues, but all the blues in the world. And it was a great feeling of accomplishment, and as you said, we worked really hard for that cheese, and we continue to strive to make that the best cheese in the world, and it's certainly proving to be the finest blue in the world, and now it's available in London.
Yes, I know. Yes, you were the first one to get the raw milk cheese approved in the UK, right?
Yeah, Yeah.
And then you got it in the EU too. The European,
Right in France, and now it's going to Spain. So it's
That is an accomplishment. It may be great in the UK and in the European Union, but Spain, which suddenly, ever since they got in the European Union, has been very, I think, full of barriers toward American cheese. They want it all, as usual, coming this way, not necessarily going that way. And no, that's an act. That is really good to have had you get the Spanish one too.
So I was thinking about one of the greatest accolades that anyone could be recognized for their accomplishments in an industry. And you were awarded in 2006 the first Lifetime Achievement Award at the American Cheese Society Conference. How did that feel?
Well, I really, that was in Portland. Well, my daughter, my eldest child, was there because she had a cheese shop and she belongs to the American Cheese Society. And it was there at the Festival of Cheeses, and I was getting ready to leave just to go back to the room, and I was asked to stay, and I had no inkling, as you know, about what it was about. You didn't tell me, nobody told me.
It was a big secret.
And
I'm surprised we got you to Portland and you didn't know about it.
well, it showed my daughter was pretty tight-lipped.
Good,
She
good.
did. So anyway, they asked me to stay, and then they made this presentation. And my daughter has subsequently told the story many times. It's the first time I have ever seen my father speechless. And I think that covers it all right then and there, certainly. No, I never expected that type of an honor. And I really am very humbled by it. And that's all I can say. What can I do next? And as has been our philosophy, okay, this is great, but we're not going to rest. If this be a laurel, we're not going to rest on it. What can we do some more of?
What we have affirmations and more affirmations.
That's a better word. Very good. Yeah.
So, we certainly being taught to make cheese by egg, we understand that sight, smell, and touch is vital in cheese making. So all the cheese here is made by hand and made in open vats. And the next element is that we have the science part of cheese making. So we understand the temperature and the pH and the time. So you have those three elements to watch, and then certainly the finishing part is the affirmation of the cheese by tasting a wheel from every lot. So prior to the release of a lot of cheese, which is between about 125 to 140 wheels depending on the time of year and season, we'll taste one wheel of cheese from every lot, and we have 27 organoleptic sensory profiles that we match, and we know exactly where that cheese should be on that list in the sensory experience from sight, texture, smell, and taste. And it's just through affirmations, certainly sight, smell, and touch to begin with, adding the science and understanding the temperature, pH, and time, and then finally, prior to shipping the cheese, we go through our sensory experience where we gather around a table like this and we taste a wheel from every lot before we ship it to our customer.
We're still using old world techniques, original recipes, but with the twist that the Rogue Creamery adds to it and our own unique style of cheese making, which is indigenous to this area. Every area has a style. You know, our molds are indigenous to this area. So, you know, which truly makes our cheese unique to here. Our milk, our ingredients, all come from Oregonian suppliers and local area. From the Rogue Valley, and that herd is managed under sustainable practices. Our ingredients are organic to our product, and we, you know, support other sustainable organic growers who may add an ingredient to our product, which is our cheddar cheese. And so our practices here, sanitation practices, our cheese making practices are the best we believe for our product and the least hazardous to the environment and to our workers or to our equipment. Behind me is the cheesemaker's desk. Back there is just basically record keeping, following the cheese development in the vat, taking good accurate notes for historical information. We have a little chemistry set behind on the desk there, which shows them acid development in the vat. But what we have our cheesemakers do, even though they watch it with the chemistry set, they're truly using their sense of taste, touch, and smell to make sure that cheese is developing properly. We really teach these guys to make sure that they're using these senses that were given to us before we're using the chemistry behind it. Well, the cheese making process here has taken us about a half a day to get us to where we're at right now. And really, again, each cheese kind of develops on its own. And so generally about, you know, 5 to 6 to 7 hour process, just really depending. A lot of it has to depend with the ambient situation, the room temperature, the quality of the milk we have, humidity, acid development in the whey, the temperature of the milk, all that plays to how that cheese develops. That, you know, this is the first stage of cheese making right here. There's many stages after this that this blue cheese is going to have to go through in developing its flavor and its style before it even comes to your plate. So, you know, this is day one, and about day 100 or longer, or maybe even a little less, it'll be on your plate. And so in between that time, the artisan cheesemakers here are doing stuff to that cheese to move it to the next stage, to the next stage. And so every bit of it is, as you see here, manpower intensive labor. You know, it's a labor of love that they actually put on this cheese. Flipping the cheese, dipping the cheese, waxing cheese, turning cheese. It's very much a labor of love for us here. So, and people don't understand when you talk artisan cheese making, we don't have there's no equipment that does the job for us. This is what we do the job with. Everything from making the cheese to washing the dishes. It's all done by hand. Oh,